in the life of our community as we install Reverend Faye Abdul Salam as an assistant minister here at CSL Dallas. The installation ceremony will be during our Sunday celebration, followed by a reception for Faye hosted by our core council. Be sure to be here to celebrate Reverend Faye. Faye Day. Yeah, I like that. Do you consider CSL Dallas your spiritual home? If you do, then it's time for you to become a member of our beautiful community. Membership matters because it allows you to declare your engagement with us and invites you to go deeper. We've learned that just enjoying Sundays isn't enough, not if you really want to be part of something amazing. It begins with a free 2-hour session about CSL Dallas next Sunday, March 2nd at 12:30, hosted by Dr. Petra and Carmen. If you are online and would like to learn more, you can always take our free CSL Dallas 101 e-course now by going to spiritual-class-online.com. It culminates with a ritual for new members on March 9th during our Sunday celebration. So sign up on csldallas.org today. I cannot tell you how grateful I am to be a member of this community. I cannot tell you, especially now and during this time, when I needed a place to land, this place was here for me. And last week, I'm really emotional right now because a trans man said to me, he's going back to being a female from being afraid to be in America. This place has given me the voice to speak to that. This place gave me a place to know that I knew when I signed up and being a member, I was gonna grow. I was gonna grow. And so I cannot tell you how important it is. I tell somebody every week, I learn the best thing that I learned from being here, I got a new one every week. And one this week is, no man is an island. We need community, and we need to be in community more than ever. And this place lives its walk and walks its talk and all of the rest of it. I am new to this place, and I'm here to tell you, I've seen it. I've seen it, I've observed it, I've experienced it. And so, no more closet for me. No more closet for me. No more closet for me. And the hardest closet that I ever came out of was the one to say that I am divine and I and the divinity are one. So I ain't going back. I ain't going back. So now let me move on. Let me move on, because I knew something was coming. But so whether you are a member or not, March 9th is your day to get involved. Find out how you can give the gift of your presence and talents. Get to know folks in the community, all while making things happen around here. Learn more about all our opportunities and sign up at our volunteer fair. It'll be Sunday, March 9th after the Sunday celebration, and Wednesday, March 12th before Wednesday night meditation and conversation. From helping on Sundays and Wednesdays to empowering our kids to work in the surrounding community to helping us host events, there's a place for you that's just right for your schedule. Everyone matters. Everyone makes a difference. We cannot do this without you. So now, let's settle into this morning with our music team, Candy, Aaron, Stephanie, Glenda, and Valerie, along with our CSL Dallas band, Brad, Jonathan, and Matt, and let's go within and center with our spiritual coach, Jan Young.
In this moment, love is all there is. In this moment, love is all there is. Love is all there is. I claim it to be so. And so it is. In this body, love is all there is. In this body, love is all there is. In this body, love is all there is. I claim it to be so. And so it is. Sing it again. In this body, love is all there is. In this body, love is all there is. In this body, love is all there is. I claim it to be so. And so it is.
In this moment, would you go within? For in this now moment, indeed, love is all there is. It is the allness of that infinite love, and it exists in each one of us. It is that compassion, that gratitude, that peace that passes all understanding. We recognize and remember that it is always present, always powerful, and always seeking to know more of itself in, through, and as each one of us. Affirming this is so, I invite you to affirm with me, and so it is.
In this moment, in this moment, love is all there is. In this moment, love is all there is. In this moment, love is all there is. I claim it to be so. And so it is. I speak this word.
totally thrilled to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, on guitar, all the way over there. That's Brandon Tyner. Yeah, he's been here before and before and before, so welcome him again. And this one right here is my other boss. That's Joseph Vincelli on the saxophone.
All right, lots to celebrate, including some. Turn it on. Is it on now? Uh-oh, now I have a whole boatload of things going on. I got way too many things in my hand. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is we're celebrating some anniversaries. So I just have to confess that I know 3 people's birthdays, and Karen and I, we picked an anniversary date that I could remember. So now that we have Reverend Faye on staff, we're going to be much better at honoring our anniversaries. We do have an opportunity to celebrate our volunteers on a regular basis, but we don't always have an opportunity to celebrate those people who work, whether full-time, part-time, in the band, or different ways. And so we are going to be acknowledging their anniversaries. So the very first person I'm going to call up here, Carmen Daniels. Come on up here. Where are you, Carmen Daniels? Come up here. I asked her to be in here for the first half of the celebration. Okay, so Carmen, oh, see, I have too much going on. Oh my God, I've got to have my glasses and my clicker and everything. Okay, I'm gonna stand here. Carmen has been with us for 2 years. And if you don't know her yet, you are going to want to get to know her. She is the backbone of making sure that our folks get connected. And she's the one who's walking around always making sure that everything is okay and perfect as we have people in the building. She handles all of our rentals and facilities, and she is a huge help to me, a right-hand person on Wednesdays and throughout the week. So I will applaud Carmen when she comes into the room. All right, the second person we are acknowledging is somebody who you see every single solitary Sunday morning, and we're going to ask him to come out from behind the piano and come over here, or maybe just stand up there. It's really okay. Brad has been with us for 5 years on the piano. We love you so much. And Candy leans into Brad for charts and to help make sure that, and then she'll say, okay, this key isn't going to work. And he goes, oh, okay. And then he just starts playing it in a different key. And then Jonathan just follows right along, and then there we are. So, Brad, thank you so much for 5 years for being on our piano. We have other musicians who have been here a whole lot longer, and we will be acknowledging our other musicians who've been here longer when we get to your anniversaries. And thank Faye for that. Okay, and the last one is somebody who is no longer, oh, there she is. Carmen, come up here. All right, come on up here. We want to acknowledge your 2 years and how much we love and appreciate everything that you have done, and how much you have grown into your position, and how much I rely on you. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Okay, and the last but not least, a person who was here with us for full time, and now he's what's known as a digital nomad. He happens currently to be in Madrid, or 2 hours north of Madrid, as he regularly reminds me. He has been our accounting manager. Reverend Karen hired him, and he's been a stalwart, and he's now part-time doing our bookkeeping, and he pretends he's not the accounting manager, but I ask him all those questions anyway, and he answers them, so it's great. And so Stefan von Copenhagen, he's been with us for 9 years. So Stefan, when you see this, we love you. We are so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful that I still get to ask you all those questions, and you are still there for me. So when you work with your pledge, when you have issues with your credit card or with the things that you want to do to donate, when you want to give legacy to CSL Dallas, put us in your wills, make a donation to the foundation, all of that, Stefan is the one who makes sure that it's done perfectly, accurately, with deep, deep integrity. And so, man, I couldn't ask for somebody better doing that work for us. So, a fabulous, oh, we got to put him up there. Oh, here we go. See, I had too much going on. Oh, my gosh. So let's just get another round of applause for these amazing people. Oh, and we're going to sing to that. We're going to sing to all of them. So here we go.
And we are grateful, grateful for all you give and all you do and everything you are. And we are grateful, grateful for all you give and all you do and everything you are.
Acknowledged at some point too. We have fabulous people. All right, so we're closing out our celebrating Black History Month. And we want to start out with, it's ridiculous. I really just have to stand over here. I have too much going on. So we are in week 4 of the Season for Peace and Nonviolence. This week, Dr. Martin Luther King reminds us that nonviolent approach does not immediately change the heart of the oppressor. It first does something to the heart and soul of those committed to it. So this is day 25, friendliness. To humorist Will Rogers, strangers were simply friends he hadn't met yet. View those you encounter today in that light. Make a new acquaintance, make a new friend, right? Building on our understanding of our connection with each other and how important it is. So in Black History Month, we celebrate our connection across the divide of history and oppression and all of the past to really stand in celebration. This quote comes from Martin Luther King's letter from a Birmingham jail. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea. Anyone who lives inside the United States can never be considered an outsider anywhere within its bounds. Also from his letter from a Birmingham jail. I refer to the creation of tension as a part of the work of a nonviolent resistor. This may sound rather shocking, but I must confess I am not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly worked and preached against violent tension, but there is a type of constructive nonviolent tension that is necessary for growth. From Mark Twain, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by things that you didn't do than by the things you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. And finally, from a pastor in Germany during the reign of the Nazis, Martin Niemöller. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. So we've been living into this now for quite a while. So we just want to recognize the authors of these beautiful pieces of music that our amazing music team with our beautiful musicians are going to sing for us. Sly and the Family Stone. Yes, right? And so coming from Wikipedia, Sly and the Family Stone harnessed all the disparate musical and social trends of the late 60s, creating a wild, brilliant fusion of soul, rock, R&B, psychedelia, and funk that broke boundaries down without a second thought. Led by Sly Stone, the Family Stone were comprised of men and women and blacks and whites, making the band the first fully integrated group in rock history.
Sometimes I cry, I can be wrong. My own
to our fabulous, fabulous musicians. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. And how lovely it is to be reminded that for those of us who are of an age, so many of the songs that we grew up on, right? So many of the songs that we grew up on speak to us today, right? Remind us of what it's all about. And it's all built on our understanding of our connection with others. Are they someone that we can imagine being connected to, or have we decided that there is some story we're telling about them that means that they don't fit in our view, in our idea about what's okay and what's acceptable? And right, it's just really something extraordinary. So when I had my first community in Renton, Washington, I was a youth worker. I'd been a youth worker for years, and I continued after I left there, wrote a lot of curriculum for CSL for the teen groups. But at that particular time, as we were growing that community, I was the leader of the youth group, and we met, and after the celebration, we met between 1 and 3. And yeah, in a relatively short period of time, we had 30 kids coming. Half of them, their families didn't come, and a lot of them, their families were like, "Ugh, you want to go back to the center?" And so they carpooled. They got their own rides. They did their thing, and I took them camping. I took them all kinds of places, and we had the teenage drama, of course. Oh, it's some of that, but lots and lots and lots of amazing things. And they would, many of them would come to the celebration. They'd go out to lunch. They'd come back for the youth group. And boy, did I heard about those kids, the blue hair and the tattoos and the chains. Okay, mind you, this was in 1980. 1986, 7, and 8 to be exact, and I heard about it. And we had a fabulous time together. And I remember the Sunday that I said, we've been asking for volunteers to shampoo the carpets. We've been having some challenges. I can't remember what kind of a mess we made, but we had clearly made a mess. And we had it like this, a sanctuary that did double duty. We had to, shampoo the carpet, and I'd asked for volunteers. And so we got it all taken care of one weekend, and that Sunday I said, great, I'm so excited that we had people volunteer to shampoo the carpet. We're going to have an opportunity to thank them. Please stand up. All those blue-haired, tattooed, in black, chains, and God knows what else they were doing and wearing. They were the ones who stood up because they were the ones who had volunteered to do the icky, messy work of shampooing the carpet. I didn't prod them. They just heard that it was needed, and they said, oh yeah, we'll do it. No problem. You should have heard the silence in the room that morning. Right. And all of a sudden, people started wanting to learn about these kids, who they were, what they were about. Right? All of a sudden, connections began to be made. It was really extraordinary to watch and to see and to wonder why did it take that? Because we have our view. We have called it prejudice, unconscious bias, out and out ism of some sort. But we don't see people as everyday people. The challenge with that is, I don't know if the challenge is it. I would say the embarrassing thing about it is that says more about us than it does about them. Because we're the ones that have carried the point, the thought, right? And whether we don't personally do that ourselves, certainly we see that in our culture today. this inability to connect with someone who looks different than us, acts different than us, behaves different, understands life different, has cultural differences than we do. Yes, of course. We have basic rules that talk about how to create a civil society. There are certain things that that these behaviors simply aren't acceptable, right? You can't steal your neighbor's wife or mule. That's what it says. That's what it says, right? Can't kill, lie, cheat. Why? Because it damages the fabric of society. It creates an inability for us to have civil discourse, civil disagreements, and ways to find our way through. Connecting with others. And so connecting with others, it's more than just, oh, I know we're all one big family and I love everybody. And what I notice is when I say I love everybody, I definitely have some people in my mind that I do not love as a part of that everybody. I love everybody like as humanity, but as individuals, not so sure. Right? Don't we find ourselves in that place sometimes? Especially as they get closer to us or they impact our lives more. And so this is why we're talking about what does it mean to be emotionally mature. Because the reality of it is it does say more about us than about them. And it is in the act of growing emotionally mature that our spiritual love, agape, turns into philia. Philia. Family love. Brother and sister love. Oh, I know we can have a thing about who's gonna do the dishes after Thanksgiving, but I can still get along with you and I can love you, but I don't know, you don't dry the dishes the way that I would, right? Family love. A love that's big enough for the disagreements, for the challenges, but a deep honoring and respect for each other. In an ideal world, every family would have that. Clearly, that's not the case. Every family doesn't have that. And by extension, every community could have that, right? What is the Chinese saying? For there to be peace in the nation, there has to be peace in the community. For there to be peace in the community, there has to be peace in the home. For there to be peace in the home, there has to be peace in the individual, right? And so that's the way it works. And so we start with ourselves. We start with ourselves to ground our spiritual teachings and our spiritual truth into the way in which we actually engage in the world, right? We say treat and move your feet. That also means, I believe, that we live our spiritual principles, but we live them in the world, not just on the meditation cushion, not just when we don't have to deal with all those other people, not just when we're removed, but actually in the moment, in the engagement. And it is extraordinary to me. I've worked with some very, very highly spiritual people. When I was in Seattle, some really amazing people created events and did some amazing things. We had this thing called Mind Miraculous Symposium, and we would do these incredible spiritual experiences. And I'll tell you, some of those people were super spiritual, but they were not emotionally mature. And there's a disconnect, right? There's a disconnect when that alignment doesn't live its way all the way out into the way we show up in the world. So emotional maturity helps our integrity, our commitments, helps our ability to be in the world the way in which we think of ourselves as divine beings, helps that alignment to be visible, but also to inform how we engage. So we're going to talk about emotional immaturity today. Some of you already know some of this, and some of it maybe you don't. So the first thing to talk about emotional maturity is that when we're not being emotionally mature, what we are is we are on what's called the drama triangle. Okay? The drama triangle, oh, so very much fun. The drama triangle was actually created and what should we say, illuminated in 1969 by a man whose name I can't at the moment recall, but if you look it up, the Oracle will know. So the drama triangle, and it was used in terms of groups of people, organizations, and communities, but has become clear that this also works in families, anywhere where there are groups of people, even truthfully in a pair, in a relationship. The drama triangle is there's always a victim, a villain, and a hero. Always. In a drama triangle. And so the drama triangle looks like the victim calling somebody up and saying, you know that my boss did this thing, and oh my God, it's just awful, and I just can't stand working for this person. So who's the villain? Right? The boss. The boss is the villain. And the person who's listening says, well, I'll tell you what you should do. You should march right in there, and you should tell them off. That would be the hero. I'm going to fix it for you. I'm going to fix it for you. Right? I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to tell you what you should do so that it will be all better. Now, the drama triangle always includes these two positions. The other really, so they go, right? The victim is looking for a hero. The hero wants to help you with the villain. The villain, the victim feels victimized by the villain. Whether or not the person actually is the villain may or may not be accurate. But it's the drama triangle. And so there's always somebody who's a villain, there's always somebody who's a victim, and there's always somebody who's a hero. Now, the other thing is that we can change positions. So what happens when we then go in and talk to the boss, and we've gotten up on our high horse, and we start yelling at the boss, calling the boss names? What have we become? We've become the villain, right? And that person has become the victim, and now another hero is needed. Somebody has to come into the room and go, hey, this is not how we do this. Now, we're gonna figure this out, we're gonna make this all work, and I'm gonna fix it for you. Do you see? Over and over and over and over again, this is called the drama triangle. And the problem is, if you move from victim to hero, you're still on the drama triangle. If you move from villain to hero, you're still on the drama triangle. Every time you find yourself feeling victimized, you are on the drama triangle. And what does that mean? The minute we find that we feel victimized, we have identified a villain. Whether we have said it out loud or not, or consciously, we have identified a villain. And if you find that person, if you find that yourself talking about somebody incessantly, they are the villain in your story. Right? And we're looking for a hero. Oh, wait, there's a song. Isn't that Footloose? I need a hero. Somebody on a white knight, right? To come charging in. Yeah. The problem is the hero can just as easily turn into the villain or the victim. This is constantly happening. You cannot fix the drama triangle in the drama triangle. You can't. What you have to do is step off the drama triangle. You have to find another playing field. Now, our spirituality gives us another playing field. I see that everybody's doing the best they can. We're all one in this together. I know that there is an infinite presence in each person, and that's a part of this, right? All of these things help us. We just are on a different playing field. And everything about how we relate and what we need and what we're looking for shifts. But that also has to be actualized in behavior. So the first place is to go in consciousness. Go to our spirituality in consciousness. and stand on a universal playing field instead of the individual playing field that is so well represented in every soap opera you have ever watched, right? Or any rom-com, or all the ways and places that this is embedded in our psyche. We move to a different playing field with our spirituality. We move into that universal perspective from a spiritual point of view. But then we have to actualize it. And actualizing it is what I believe is meant by emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to recognize and manage emotions, our emotions, in a way that helps us grow and get along with others. It's not just about avoiding emotions, but rather about expressing them in a healthy way. Getting off the drama triangle means we express our emotions. You get to feel your feels. This is not about not feeling them. It's about finding the way to express them appropriately, which is not projecting them on somebody else, not blaming, shaming, but we're going to talk about what that looks like as we actualize that behavior. And what we're doing is we're actualizing our spirituality in our personal engagements, whether it's in our relationship with our boss, whoever it might be. So we're going to talk about what emotional maturity entails, and maybe give a little example about them, and you can just, listen for the ones that go, oh, yeah, I do that. Gold star, right? Gold star. Give yourself a gold star for the growth you've done, the therapy you've done, the work you've done. All of us have done growth and done that. And then notice the ones, maybe I do that a little more than I would like to. Okay, because we all have opportunities for growth and an ability to commit to that, as David Zellman talked about at the beginning of the month and also in our workshop. All right. So the first thing really is self-awareness, right? Our spirituality gives us self-awareness to know who we are, but it's also being identified identify our emotions, not just who we are spiritually, but also who we are in the moment. So there's many interesting things that we do to not do this. So a lot of people actually are mad when they're really sad. It's easier to be mad. Why? Because I get to blast it out there and I don't have to feel sad. Do you see? Because we have become habituated to avoid negative feelings because we say they're negative. But what if we said they were just feelings? What if they were just feelings and we have them for a reason? We have them for the same reason that we have eyes and ears and mouth, right? Because it allows us to experience and express fully here as individualized beings. So when we think about it, the other way we can juxtapose, or we can cover our own feelings with another feeling, is that we don't recognize like what age we're being. Yes. So for me, I'm either 4 or I'm 14. 4, I'm stomping my feet, pouting, maybe occasionally sulking, and I don't want to play. I am going to take my marbles and I'm going to go home. When I'm 14, make me. Right? But I'm actually not either of those people, and there may be more layers in between. And so by being able to identify our emotions, we can identify who's running the show in the moment. And it's not the I that I am, but that's who we want to have run the show, is in fact the I that I am. So I have to be able to identify my emotions. We have to be able to not project them out or cover them with something else. And truthfully, we have to make friends with and get over that there are feelings that don't feel great. So if we can understand that what we call negative feelings are actually paired with those positive feelings that we want, we can use those feelings as signposts, as opportunities to notice what's going on. Grief is the other side of love. The more we've loved, the more we grieve, right? And so when we can see that, we can be sad without needing to suffer in the sadness, because we can recognize, oh my God, I love that person so much, or that pet, or that, right? Grief is, we don't grieve things we didn't love. We're like, okay, whatever. Grief is the other side of love. Anger is the other side of peace. Anger is when our boundaries have been violated, an injustice has been done, or we've been hurt. And it is the other side of peace, right? And it tells us that there's something needed for our peace to be restored. Depression is the other side of bliss and joy. Depression is when we turn our lives inward on ourselves. We don't express who we are. We don't allow our joy to show, or we don't know how to get back to our inner joy. We don't know how to get to experience bliss in the life that we find ourselves. And so we close down and we turn it inward, and it becomes depression. And so it can be, these are signposts, the same thing as it hurts when you put your hand on a hot stove. It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to say, hello, are you paying attention? Don't do that, right? And so our negative feelings aren't negative at all. They're actually important. We just don't like to feel them. But the truth is, feelings come and go. It's only when we resist them or wallow in them that we turn our feelings into suffering. So we allow those waves to come forward. If we can properly identify them, they will help us understand what's going on, what's needed. Sometimes you just have a blue day. Just be blue. It's okay. Sometimes it's not great. Come to CSL Dallas anyway. You don't have to paste a smile on your face. You can just be, you know what? I'm just a little depressed, right? You can just say that. And I'm paying attention. That's it. And we will not jump in and being heroes and try to fix you. All right. Self-control. When is to control your emotions, not to not have them. Control your emotions, and that means react appropriately. So one of the ways we control our emotions is that we stop activating them on purpose. Do you know how you activate your emotions on purpose? You doom scroll. You activate your emotions on purpose when you have told the story about how awful it is for the 4th time. 3 times. 3 times should be enough to start getting the energy off it, getting to the other side of it, feeling like, okay, so what am I going to do now? Okay, right? The 4th time, it's a story. Anytime after that, it's a story, right? And so, then to react appropriately is to take responsibility for our emotions. I remember learning how to stop my feet and pound on the side of my chair and say, I am so mad. Because in my family that I grew up in, mad was like a hose of acid that was spread around in the house. Poured out on everybody else. Right? And of course, that's what I learned to do. But to be able to react appropriately, I'm really mad about this, and to be able to do that loudly and stomp my feet with appropriately, then that allows us to ask, oh, what is this feeling telling us? What is needed here? Right? To be, and that leads right into the next one, is to take responsibility. Take responsibility. Oh, no, sorry, empathy. So when empathy allows us to recognize what other people are feeling, what they're going through, it is, oh, I'm so sorry to tell you, it's just not all about us. Right? It's not all about me. It's not all about, how I'm feeling, what's going on for me. It's not all about how you made me feel, although I would like for it to be. This allows us to take responsibility, to have empathy, and to see that in any relationship there's two sides. Takes two to tango. I don't care what your story is, right? Takes two to tango. Did you attract it? I don't know. But if it's really awful and you're still there, that's your part. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not always like you have some hidden belief or you've done something awful. It could just be that you haven't made the choice yet. But it always takes two. And so to have empathy for where that other person is coming from helps us begin to manage our emotions as well, be present in the moment, and see that they too are an individualized expression of the divine, and they're having their own experience. It also allows us not to take their experience on. Oh, wow, I really see that has really, I am so sorry, I did not mean to impact you that way or did not mean to activate you that way, but we can not say it out loud, but we can also get, that's actually been activated over there, and that's not what's going on for me. We can find this in relationships where two people are in the same room doing the same thing, having entirely different experiences. So to try to understand, how is it for you? Right? Karen would like nothing more than to talk to everybody. And I'm like, could I just sit over here? So when we first started having parties and people over, she would come into the kitchen and she would say, come on, come out. You don't have to hide in the kitchen. And I would say, no, you don't understand. You go out there, you be your brilliant extroverted self, schmooze everybody, tell the stories, and all the introverts, they're going to find me one at a time in the kitchen. We're going to have a nice little conversation. I am so happy in the kitchen. I'll come out every once in a while, say hello, do a few, and I will go, right? But you see, the empathy, then she doesn't need me to be different. Why do you hide? And I don't need to say, why do you always have to seek the limelight? Are you kidding? Please, go, do it, do it. Then I don't have to. Empathy and understanding. Right? And that's a really joyful way in which we empower each other and we make a whole between the two of us. But it's equally as important when it's stuff that's going on. Somebody is really activated or troubled. We don't have to take it on, but we can see, actually, they're activated and troubled. And that's okay. They get to be. So this all has to do with taking responsibility. We take responsibility for our actions and our behaviors. And of course, that is fundamental to the science of mind. We take responsibility if we speak poorly. We take responsibility if we project. We take responsibility that I responded to you as if I were 4. Okay, could we have a do-over? I'd like to be my adult self now for a moment. I want to have a conversation. I'd like to ask for something different as opposed to simply pounding, stomping my feet, pouting, and walking away. Do you see? Taking responsibility allows us not to project. It allows us not to be victimized. It allows us to get off the drama triangle and engage without fear or shrinking. Why? Because we know who we are. Nothing is too big for the individualized expression of love and light to handle. Nothing. Including walking away if it's abusive, including owning a mistake, including saying I'm sorry, including having long, drawn-out conversations to really try to understand and get to a new outcome together, right? All of that. And when I know that about myself, it's easier to know that about the other person, whether it's my partner or a boss or an employee or a person on the street or anybody else that I want to get on the victim triangle with. To take responsibility. When we can take responsibility, the thing I want to say about taking responsibility, the big thing is, especially when it's coupled with empathy, is we release shame and blame, right? And shame and blame are 100% the outpicturing of trying to figure out whose fault it is. Shame, it's my fault. Blame, it's your fault. Well, I don't want to feel shame, so surely I'm going to blame you. Or, I feel bad, I'm not worthy to blame you, so I'm just going to crumble and feel shame. No, Responsibility, taking responsibility is an adult response, right? It's a mature response. We're not perfect. We're perfect expressions of the one infinite, but we sure don't show up perfectly, do we? And it's okay. Emotional responsibility has a container that's elastic enough that we don't actually have to be perfect. I think that's called grace. Giving each other grace, right? Out of that comes an ability to communicate, to be able to actually communicate well and handle constructive criticism. We talk about the season for peace and nonviolence. Go learn about nonviolent communication. Learn how to give and receive feedback. Learn how to ask for commitment. Learn how to ask for what you need. Learn, and the big thing that I had to learn, is how to allow somebody to say, I didn't like that or that hurt my feelings, and not to just crumble or hide, right? These are the things that allow us to grow. We want that ability to flourish, and we need to stay grounded in the ability to communicate with each other. If we're taking responsibility for our emotions and we're careful about what we're doing with them, do you see communication becomes more clear instead of flinging everything, including the kitchen sink, at the other person? The things that happened last week and last month and last year, and 10 years ago, do you remember you did the same thing? We're no longer have things out of the drawer. We're now taking them out of the cupboards and everything else, and we're just throwing them out there, right? And boundaries. So boundaries are about commitment. They're about being able to ask for commitment. They're about making your own commitments. The fundamental thing about boundaries that was the most amazing thing that I had ever heard in my entire life, I'm sure you know it, no is a complete sentence. Okay, that did not make any sense to me the first time I heard it, because no really required an explanation. No, I can't do that because now I'm going to make something up and I'm going to lie to you to your face, because I don't want to have to tell you that I don't actually want to go. So I'm going to tell you that I have the story and I have this thing I have to do. No is a complete sentence. Make excuses, rationalizations, tell you why I did what I did. I don't really care, right? If the other person doesn't really care why you did it, they just want to say no. Or you want to say no. No, I don't know is a complete sentence. And for women in the room, if you were raised like me, this was a completely foreign concept. Completely. To actually say no out loud was not being nice. Yes, and that is unhealthy boundaries, creates codependence, and is not emotionally mature. So if you do nothing else, practice just saying no. Right? And then you might end up with communication and feedback and other things, right? And that's okay. Boundaries, healthy boundaries are super important. And if you have any addiction in your family tree, probably you, like me, were raised to be codependent. Boundaries can be challenging for codependence. And I spent years using the spiritual principle of acceptance to allow other people to behave poorly towards me because I believed I needed to accept them as they were instead of create healthy boundaries and say, no, you can't do that. That's not okay with me. So this is why emotional maturity and spirituality go hand in hand. Because we can use our spirituality inappropriately without emotional maturity. Okay, so part of it is this whole idea is to responding to bullies. Right? There are a lot of people whose emotional maturity is or immaturity is presented as gaslighting and insisting on things that aren't true, or energetically bullying. And so one of the things you can do is really important is to find your humor and your own calmness. Laugh at the absurdity. I have found myself in the last few weeks finding more and more and more reasons to laugh at the absurdity rather than getting hooked, right? No power. I'm not giving somebody power when I can find the humor and the absurdity in it. Be assertive with your boundaries. No, that's not acceptable. period. End of sentence. It's not acceptable. Tell others, a lot of others, gather together. Bullies love to intimidate, and they love to isolate and separate people. Tell others and gather together, whether this is in your family or your workplace or any place else. Release being a victim and feeling powerless. Get off the drama triangle. And finally, the most important, to, if at all possible, shun or ignore. Give it no power whatsoever. Turn around and walk away if that is at all possible. Doesn't mean don't engage with those other ones, right, when ignoring or shunning doesn't work. But this is all built, being able to do these things is built on emotional maturity. Because we know who we are, we're willing to have the hard conversations, we're willing to feel a little bad because it's uncomfortable, we're willing to find our way through, we're willing to keep at it. And as Karen and I constantly say, we are utterly willing to stay in the arena. What a commitment that is. Stay in the arena. Oh yes, you got to take breaks, right? No question about it. But to stay in the arena. So self-care is huge. So interestingly enough, really hugely important for spiritual maturity. I don't know about you, but if I've eaten too much sugar, I'm too tired, I'm working too hard, and I'm too stressed out, I'm more often 4 and 14. Right? Right. Which also means we have to manage our stress. We have to manage our stress. We function better. We have to learn how to function well under stress and to stay positive. Or we are going to revert to the old behaviors over and over and over again. And then we have to project or excuse or rationalize, and we don't want to take responsibility, all of those sorts of things. So surprisingly enough, self-care and stress management are utterly critical to emotional maturity. Developing emotional maturity, you can, by practicing self-awareness, self-control, and empathy. You can also learn from criticism and grow from your own experiences. Ernest Holmes says, Spirit works for you by working through you, and this thing called life is intimate to everyone, even as the law of cause and effect is available to all. Take your place, then. In the universe in which you live, take your place, then, in the universe in which you live, having neither fear nor arrogance, but in the simplicity of faith, come to believe that you are one with the creative genius back of this vast array of ceaseless motion, this original flow of life. You are as much a part of it as the sun, the earth, and the air. That's the ground, right? That's the ground that allows us to grow emotionally mature so that we can connect with people in a whole different way. And as I keep feeling like I say over and over and over again, we need this from all of us now more than ever. Yeah, and so it is.
Ooh. That's a lot. I'm just saying. That's a lot. I'm just saying. Glenda, when we discuss this, you're going to have to buy me a pizza. So I have to be comforted. But now is the time for our offering. Please give generously to the work of CSL Dallas and be a force for good in the world and in your own life. So let us read our affirmation together. The life of the eternal Spirit is mine to enjoy. The abundance, the wisdom, and the peace of the divine are mine now. We accept our highest good now. Joyfully, we anticipate greater abundance, more success, and a deeper peace for CSL Dallas, our community, and the world. And so it is. So remember, there are many ways to give online by sending a check or putting in cash in the basket that is being passed out now. let me tell you about our next great course. Cultivate a consciousness of health, prosperity, and limitless possibilities in building a healing consciousness with Sherry Wood. Study the universal spiritual principles we learn here in the science of mind. Explore your current life situations, beliefs, and viewpoints in relation to these principles. Then develop the skills that allow you to create a whole new level of consciousness. This begins Monday, March 3rd, for 6 weeks online. Sign up for this and all of our courses through education or events at CSLDallas.org. Today, we are preparing to close our registration for our March Step Out in Faith home study groups. This 4-week program includes a powerful workbook, videos by Dr. Petra, and Sunday talks in an intimate setting, guaranteed to create authentic connection and conversation, to make lifelong friends and develop your spirituality all at the same time. This spring's program is focused on learning spiritual mind treatment, and our whole spiritual community is learning it together. So sign up today. There is a perfect group just waiting for you on campus. Scan the QR code in our monthly flyer, and for those online, go to the events tab on CSLDallas.org and click on the home study group category.
I heard that they are being closed tomorrow, so sign up today.
Okay, so last thing to put on your calendar is our annual meeting is Sunday, March 23rd. We have a very special celebration plan, followed by a potluck, yay, volunteer awards, elections, and a time for us to dream up CSL Dallas 3.0 together. Everyone is invited. Watch for more details and plan to be here in person and online. Every Sunday, our spiritual coaches are available for your spiritual support. Visit them in our Peace Room located in Barong Lounge after our celebration. And for those who are online and want spiritual support, please go to our website and visit our spiritual coaches directory under the About Us tab. We love being in community with you. Join us after the celebration in Barong Lounge for coffee and to enjoy the last week of Stephanie Austin's art. And you can, that's Stephanie. And so you can hang out in the gathering space with friends over snacks and conversation. Now, join me in standing as we sing our celebration to a close with our fantastic music team.